Hey everybody, sorry I'm late. Apparently there's a lot of things that were happening behind the scenes. Trying to get the stream ready and such. I deeply apologize for being late. But anyway, how you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. My name is Marlon. This is episode 51 of Mushroom City of Minecraft. But, however, I doubt that this will be a Minecraft episode because, well, from what I can tell, is that the thunderstorms might show up before the stream arrive. Might end. I mean, like right around probably 7:30, right in the middle of the Minecraft part of the stream. So what I usually do is that I talk about the weather in the first hour. The second hour, I play Minecraft, and the stream lasts from 6 to 8 p.m. So, what do we do right now? I know. Let's talk about the weather. Okay, so let's play the radar right now. And this is a loop that occurs throughout the past up to 3 hours. Let's say after 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, all the way to now, which is 6:03 p.m. Eastern. And basically, throughout the country, the East Coast is virtually experiencing some form of wet weather. Some of them may be mild, others severe. Especially in the South, the Rockies, and even the northern plains, upper Mississippi Valley, the Great Basin, and just outside of Washington State to the north in Canada. But for the most part, we're talking about wet weather. And based on where I live, let's just start off with what's going on in the Northeast. So what do we have here? Now, before we get to that, I just want to point out that there are 8 severe thunderstorm warnings in Georgia, South Carolina, South Dakota, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Virginia, and Florida. 32 flash flood warnings in New Mexico, Connecticut, New York, Hudson Valley. I think I said New Mexico. Virginia, especially, the Hudson Valley. New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Then we go, Florida, Delaware, Pennsylvania. I don't know if I already said Pennsylvania, Virginia. I think I said Maryland. Oh yeah, Washington D.C., Massachusetts, and Canada. Oh, a lot of flash flood warnings, mostly in the Northeast. We'll get to that. There are 4 special marine warnings in Maryland, Virginia, Washington D.C., Florida. No special weather statements right now. I mean, that could change. Just 1 high wind warning, and that is located in north central Washington State in Omak. 6 extreme heat warnings, 2 dense fog advisories, and 19 air quality alerts, 52 flood warnings, and 16 red flag warnings. So let's now go into the Northeast. So what do we have here? So we do have a cold front that's located just outside the Northeast to the west. Yet there is an area of low pressure at the surface in western New York. It's bringing in cold air from the Ohio Valley, and as well as a stationary front located still on the western part of upstate New York. Changes into a cold front all the way to the Adirondacks and into Canada, which is the reason why we're dealing with some wet weather storms from places like Virginia all the way to Maine. And what do we have in New England? So let's start off in New England, where there's plenty of storms marching through Vermont. That was the case 3 hours ago, but now it's becoming more of a New Hampshire and Maine thing. Maine and Presque Isle, they're still getting a lot of rain, some thunderstorms, stretching down all the way to Paris. Portland, Maine, they're about to get it. In Concord, they're also going to get it. Ossipee, well, they're about to get in a few minutes. Montpelier, they had some wet weather going on, but that's passed. Though there are air quality alerts in the northern part of the state, especially in the northern Adirondacks, western New York, all the way to, well, just on the upper part of the Catskills, Finger Lakes region. Plenty of wet weather all across places like northern New Jersey, the greater New York City area, as well as Connecticut, western Massachusetts, marching into Boston, Hartford. They're starting to get some wet weather going right now. Rhode Island, they're in the clear for now, but in about a couple minutes, they're going to get storms going. The Hudson Valley, plenty of flash flood warnings, just northwest of Fallsburg, north of Poughkeepsie, as well as just north New Fairfield, Connecticut, Kent, New York. And then there are a lot of flash flood warnings in Rockland and Westchester County, and just shy of reaching the Bronx. Putnam County, they're getting some flash flood warnings. Yep. In Dutchess County. And a little bit of Orange County, they're getting flash flood warnings, especially down in northeastern New Jersey, and as well as northwestern New Jersey, all the way towards south of the Poconos. Oh boy, they are getting hammered. Lots of rain all across places just to the west of the city, and north of the city too. And eastern Pennsylvania, they're getting a lot of rain, folks. Lancaster, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, they're going to get it for sure. Allentown, Reading, Scranton. What about elsewhere in southern New Jersey? Southern New Jersey, just a few areas with some thunderstorms, but most notably in Delaware, where there are 2 flash flood warnings. Long Island, well, they're starting to get some thunderstorms in a matter of a few minutes. And that includes my area, somewhere in an undisclosed location. But right now, it doesn't look like as though we're going to get spared from all of this. It's slowly creeping in, but right now, we are going to get it for sure. Then we go down on the I-95, but before we do that, some spotty showers and storms on the western side of Pennsylvania, going into central Pennsylvania, east of Pittsburgh, and just east of Pittsburgh, thunderstorms to the east, central Pennsylvania. I mean, they're not getting much in contrast to about like 2 to 3 hours ago, but still wet weather. It's still within the vicinity, about 100 to 200 miles in radius. Williamsport, flash flood warnings are in effect. Severe thunderstorm warnings located just south of Lancaster, southeast of York. Though those areas are under flash flood warnings right now. Anywhere on the I-83 and I-81 corridors, they are getting a lot of rain right now. But on the 95, it's treacherous on the roads, particularly Baltimore, down to Washington and Annapolis. They are getting a lot of rain. Washington, D.C. right now, they are getting flash flood warnings, especially in Silver Spring. Much of Delaware, they are getting some thunderstorms going right now, as I said. Delmarva Peninsula, other than Delaware, they are getting dry weather for the most part, but still going to have to keep an eye on this system right here as it approaches the rest of the Delmarva Peninsula in a matter of a couple of minutes. Down towards Northern Virginia, there are some flash flood warnings, especially eastern West Virginia, but still, anywhere along the I-81 corridor, it is completely filled with reds, oranges, greens, all across the I-81 corridor. But on the I-95, it's not as treacherous, but they're going to get it in just a couple of minutes. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued near Cumberland, Virginia to the west. And in a different Cumberland in Maryland, though, they're getting spotty thunderstorms in the vicinity. And as a matter of fact, they are going to get some clouds and showers, a few thunderstorms here and there. West Virginia, they are getting thunderstorms right now. Charleston, thunderstorms are within seconds from getting hit by thunderstorms. Beckley as well, Lynchburg. Then we march all the way down to North Carolina, where the Carolinas, they're getting thunderstorms right now all across the Carolinas in both states. Both states are under severe thunderstorm warnings, especially a flood warning and a flash flood warning. So let's zoom in real quick. So in Chapel Hill, flash flood warning is considerable, though there are flood warnings that are present near Lumberton, North Carolina, and southeast of Marion, South Carolina. But regardless, rains are there, and it's not very good, folks, in the Carolinas, especially on the coastal part of Georgia. From Savannah all the way to Jacksonville, yet the storms are plaguing through I-75 right now. I-95, for some reason, anywhere just south of Georgia. They are in the clear up until Palm Bay and Sebastian, Florida, but they're going to get some rain going, moving in towards places like between Daytona Beach and Palm Bay. Elsewhere in Georgia, just clusters of thunderstorms, but miles outside of Atlanta. And especially just a few rumbles of thunder, and a good amount of rain throughout places like southwestern Georgia, all the way to Apalachicola. A special marine warning has been issued near the Tampa Bay area up north towards the Big Bend area. Severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect in those areas as well. A flash flood warning located just to the east of Tampa also in effect. Storms are all over the peninsula part of the Sunshine State, but most notably on the west coast of Florida. But plenty of widespread rains all across South Florida. West Palm Beach, for some reason, they are dry right now, but they're still going to get wet weather going as it approaches towards the south, as you can see. Fort Lauderdale, Miami, all the way down to Key West, plenty of rains. Naples, Marco Island, Bradenton, they're getting it. Then we work our way towards Alabama, Mississippi, though Alabama, much of the state is clear, though still plenty of spotty thunderstorms in the northern half of the state, but just some approaching to Alabama coming from Meridian, Mississippi. But in Mississippi, for the most part, there are plenty of thunderstorms in the southern half of the state, but in the northern half, just a few pockets of storms just popping up or moving across through the northern half of Mississippi, Louisiana. Storms coming from Alexandria and Natchitoches. They're moving to the north, affecting places like Shreveport, well, mostly Monroe, Louisiana. But in the southeastern part of the state, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, they are, well, Baton Rouge, they're getting it right now, but thunderstorms in New Orleans, they're popping up right now in the Big Easy. Oklahoma, there are some thunderstorms in the southern part of the state and eastern part of the state too, near Tulsa, Oklahoma City. They're in the clear for now, but that may change, but that's just what we got, folks, for now. Then we go to Texas. There's a lot of storms all across the Lone Star State, with some showers dissipating near Kerrville, the ground zero for what happened on the 4th of July with terrifying floods. And we got thunderstorms from San Antonio all the way to Houston and Lufkin. Houston, they've been dealing with some storms, but now the worst of it's moving up north, affecting places like Lufkin and Austin, but they're going to get it soon. Tyler, Texas, and especially Dallas, they're within the vicinity of some thunderstorms right now, but the worst part of it is along the Red River Valley, like near Paris, Sherman, Wichita Falls. For the most part, they've been spared. Panhandle of Texas, plenty of storms popping up and scattered all across the Panhandle of Texas. Flood warnings have been issued throughout parts of the state, most notably in the central part of the state, and as well as down towards southwest of San Antonio in the hills country. Then we go to Tennessee. Storms rolling across through Tennessee right now. Some of them are scattered, moving towards the east, as well as Kentucky, but most notably they're on the east. Well, much of the state, there are plenty of storms rolling. Ohio, they had some thunderstorms and showers on the south side of the state, but now it's in the clear. But in most of Indiana, all clear, except for the southern, southwestern tip of Indiana, and as well as the southern tip of Illinois too. They're still getting some storms going right now, right along I-64. But on the rest of the state, it's quite clear. Air quality alerts throughout much of lower Michigan and eastern upper Michigan, and as well as the Chicago, Milwaukee areas, getting air quality alerts right now. And as well as northwestern Wisconsin and the northern half of Minnesota, especially some flood warnings that are still existent in the southern half of Minnesota and eastern Iowa and western Illinois. But all those air quality alerts are associated with wildfires in Canada. But regardless, plenty of showers and storms, and a few storms in the northern half of the state, most notably International Falls, coming from Canada, but they're rolling across through that part of the state and into Lake Superior. Iowa, they're clear despite some flood warnings that are there, and just a little bit, but not much in Kansas. Nebraska, they are getting pop-up thunderstorms right now, as you can see, throughout the past 3 hours in the western part of the state. And they're moving towards the east right now, only affecting on the western edge of Nebraska. Though, hold on a minute, folks. Ugh. Though, for the most part, folks, there is a severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued in southwestern South Dakota, just outside of Rapid City. As you can see, that's occurring right now. In North Dakota, well, you're just seeing passing showers and clouds and few storms rolling across through northern part of northern edge of North Dakota, but it's going to move out. There's stationary fronts. There's stationary fronts all across places like eastern Montana. Zigzag. Well, I wouldn't call it a zigzag. I would say like curving through the Dakotas, upper Mississippi Valley, and into the upper peninsula of Michigan. And another one located in Missouri, all the way through the Ozarks and down towards Oklahoma. And there's well, I've already mentioned that. In the northern Rockies, there are red flag warnings across the Great Basin, especially southern Idaho and eastern Washington State. We'll talk about extreme heat warnings in just a moment. In California, special weather statement now been issued in near Rexburg, Idaho. Let's talk Montana first. So Montana on the southern edge of the state and the northern edge of Wyoming and eastern half of Wyoming. Pop-up thunderstorms right now, especially near Yellowstone and southern Idaho. They're getting some thunderstorms going, but considering that there are red flag warnings in southern Idaho, well, I would say, folks, it's not good. Absolutely no bueno. Why not? Well, because when you have thunderstorms and red flag warnings, that's going to lead to a higher chance of lightning strikes that would cause wildfires, and those places. Oh boy, I mean, it's bad enough you have a man-made incident, human-induced wildfires, but coming from thunderstorms, well, that part is hard to predict, and also you don't know where it's going to start. Now we move towards Colorado, where Colorado, statewide, plenty of scattered thunderstorms throughout Colorado, with 3 severe thunderstorm warnings and 3 special weather statements in the Front Range of the Rockies, right along I-25. And clusters, thunderstorms right now in southern and even northeastern and western edges of Utah. Again, thunderstorms going, as well as the eastern half and the northwestern part of Nevada. Getting thunderstorms, and as well as just south of Carson City. Thunderstorms and flash flood warnings throughout parts of New Mexico, with a special weather statement just southeast, just located near Fort Sumner, New Mexico. Flash flood warnings just to the northeast of Las Cruces, New Mexico. Arizona, they're getting thunderstorms right now on the eastern side and the northern side too. Though there are extreme heat warnings near the Grand Canyon. But Tucson, yep, they're again thunderstorms right now. They're moving through the city, especially near Oro Valley. Phoenix, they're dry right now, but that could change in a matter of moments. California, they're mostly dry in the past 3 hours, but oh yeah, just some pop-up thunderstorms in the Sierra Nevadas, as you can see. Though there are extreme heat warnings near Death Valley and northwestern California, all the way towards southwestern Oregon. Though Oregon on the southeastern side, just a few showers and storms. They've been popping up. Well, some of them have popped up, but others they just passed by, escaping towards Idaho. But as you can see, there are 3 dense fog advisories in places like southwestern Washington State, all the way towards central coast of Oregon. Oh yeah, and let's not forget about northeastern Washington State, where they're dealing with some pop-up showers and storms there, despite some places being under red flag warnings. Okay, so let's go back to the northeast just to see what's going on right now in terms of any wet weather that's about to brew. Okay, so keep in mind, folks. Now I'm going to switch gears to see what's going on with the. Well, there is no tornado, folks, but I'm going to put this type of radar on just to see what's going on. So let's see what we got. So we got pop-up storms right now. Well, in the past 3 hours, they're approaching slowly, though. But for the most part, I would say that things are not quite good. I mean, in probably about half an hour from now, by the time I'll be done with the national weather discussion, there could be thunderstorms, and if thunder roars, that's it. I got to cut off the stream and just call it a day. I mean, I know I'll be disappointed. I know you guys will be disappointed or outraged by this, but it's just that I don't want to risk having the stream to get cut off by the storm. It's either I cut off the stream or the storm cuts the stream off, if you know what I mean. All right, so now let's switch gears to talk about. Let me see. Talk about a little bit about the weather in detail. Right about now. Just wait a moment. Okay. Now, as you can see, folks, yeah, let's start off in the northeast. We'll make it snappy. Now, what do we have here? Okay, so now let's just make it small, folks, because, I mean, I don't know when thunderstorms will happen, but all I know, folks, is that we do have light and variable winds, but that is just after the storm. For the most part, folks, let me just refresh the page. Yeah, because it's better to... If they're okay, so mostly light and variable winds throughout some parts of the northeast. Just some sea breeze right now. Yet, wherever there is sea breeze, they're moving towards the north, though, from Virginia all the way to Maine. Moving up to 20 miles an hour. Some places up to 25. But let's take a look at the temperatures throughout the northeast. Temperatures are in the 70s to low 80s, and we have the similar story in upstate New York and Pennsylvania too. Then the greater New York City area, upper 70s to mid 80s, then go down to the mid-Atlantic like Delaware, Maryland, and even Virginia. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s to low 90s. West Virginia temperatures are in the 70s. Then we go down towards the southeast, where you're seeing an area of low pressure just off of the Florida coast right now, bringing in winds in places like northern Florida, all the way up to the Carolinas in the Outer Banks, where winds are up to 20 miles an hour. Outer Banks just up to 25 to 30 miles an hour. But inland places in the Carolinas, as well as parts of Georgia, winds are somewhat light and variable there. But in Mississippi, Alabama, western Georgia, and Tennessee, winds are generally blowing towards the east, though. Even with the sea breeze coming from the Gulf in southern Alabama and southern Mississippi, with winds up to 20 miles an hour there. Well, you do have temperatures that are in the 80s to mid 90s in the Carolinas, in the mid 80s to mid 90s in Georgia, as well as temperatures in the 80s in Tennessee. I mean, I prefer to do it this way. Close enough, but, well, yeah, close enough. And temperatures are in the mid 80s to low 90s in Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s to mid 90s. Florida, well, you do have an upper level high, which explains the sea breeze in Alabama, in southern Alabama, southern Mississippi. But it also has its winds moving towards the west coast of Florida, including the Panhandle, with winds up to 20 to 25 miles an hour, particularly in the Big Bend area. In Key West, winds are coming from the north, blowing up to 20 miles an hour. In the east coast of South Florida and central Florida, you have winds that are moving towards the east and up to 15 miles per hour. Temperatures all across the Sunshine State, they're in the upper 70s to mid 90s. Now we go to Arkansas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. So let's start off in Louisiana, and southeastern Louisiana, it's light and variable. Rest of Louisiana, plus Arkansas, winds moving to the northeast at up to 20 miles an hour. Oklahoma, winds are moving towards the northwest at up to 20 miles an hour, but in the far panhandle of Oklahoma, just up to 25 to 30 miles an hour, very light in the northeastern corner of the state. Temperatures in Louisiana and Arkansas, they are in the 80s to low 90s. Oklahoma, temperatures are in the 80s. Texas. So what do we got for Texas? Texas, you got much of the state, winds are generally they're blowing towards the north, though in southern Texas, northeastern Texas, and panhandle of Texas. Actually, panhandle and northeastern Texas up to 20 miles per hour. Southern Texas up to 20 to 30, plus western Texas 20 to 30, but blowing towards the west though. But in north central Texas, especially just northwest of Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, somewhat light and variable winds. Throughout Texas, they are in the 80s to low 90s there, though near Laredo, 100 degrees. Now we go towards the Ohio Valley, where you get light and variable winds throughout much of Illinois and Indiana. Ohio, winds are blowing towards the southeast up to 10 miles an hour. Northern parts of Indiana and Illinois, winds are moving towards the east, but Chicago is somewhat light and variable there. Kentucky moving to the east at up to 20 miles an hour. Throughout the region, well, you do have Kentucky. Temperatures are in the 80s along with Indiana and Illinois too. But Ohio, temperatures are in the mid-70s to mid-80s. Then we go up north towards the Great Lakes in Wisconsin and Michigan, where, let's see what we have here. Winds are generally blowing towards the east throughout much of Michigan, but in places like Lake Michigan and Lake Huron and Lake Superior, winds are stronger, up to 30 miles an hour. Anywhere near the coast, along the lake shores, that have the strongest winds, up to 20 miles an hour or 25. Wisconsin in the southern half of the state, in the eastern part of the state too, winds moving to the northeast up to 20 miles an hour, light and variable in the northern part of Wisconsin. Temperatures in lower Michigan, 80s, upper Michigan, 70s, Wisconsin, upper 70s to mid 80s. Then we go towards Minnesota and the Dakotas, where northeastern Minnesota winds are somewhat light and variable, but northwestern Minnesota, winds moving towards the west at up to 20 miles an hour. The rest of Minnesota, winds are coming from the south, blowing at up to 25 miles an hour. In North Dakota, you have in the northeastern part of the state, winds are coming from the north, shifting towards the west, then back towards the south in the western half of North Dakota. Winds very light and variable in between, though, but south. Hold on a minute. Sorry about that, folks. Much of South Dakota, winds are coming from the south, blowing up to 30 miles an hour, particularly in central and southwestern South Dakota, but northwestern South Dakota, winds are somewhat light, though. More background music, folks. This is not something I want. I mean, shouldn't people be inside because there's a fucking storm out there? God damn it! Okay, so let's talk about temperatures in Minnesota. They are in in the northern half of Minnesota. Temperatures are in the mid 70s to 80s. Southern half 80s to low 90s. In the Dakotas, you're seeing temperatures that are actually North Dakota temperatures range from 68 in Estevan to 93 in Fargo. South Dakota temperatures are in the 90s. Then we go down towards Iowa, Missouri, Nebraska, and Kansas. So let's start off in Missouri, mostly light and variable in the northwestern corner of the state. Winds are moving towards the north at up to 20 miles an hour. Iowa, winds are virtually moving to the north at up to 20 miles an hour, up to 25 in the western part of Iowa. Nebraska, also moving towards the north, but western and northeast corner of the state. Winds blowing up to 25 or even 30 miles an hour in a few places. Kansas, winds are coming from the southeast. It's quite calm in southeast Kansas, northwestern Kansas, blowing up to 25 miles per hour, shifting towards the north of Nebraska. In Missouri and as well as Iowa, temperatures are in the upper 70s to upper 80s. In Kansas and Nebraska, temperatures will be in the mid 80s to mid 90s. Now we go to the northern Rockies. So what do we have here? So virtually Idaho and much of Wyoming and southern and western parts of Montana. Winds blowing to the east. Some places like southern Idaho, southwestern Wyoming. Winds are blowing up to 30 miles an hour. But elsewhere, well, you do have light winds, but except for the northern part of Idaho and western Montana, winds blowing up to 25 miles per hour. Eastern Wyoming, winds are somewhat light and variable, but in the southeastern corner of Wyoming, blowing at 30 to 35 miles an hour. They're just northeast of Cheyenne. Sorry about that, folks. I stutter a lot. North Montana, you do have winds generally coming from the north, but northeast Montana, winds are coming from the northeast, blowing up to 25 to 30 miles an hour in some places. Southeast Montana, light though, a little variable though, especially northeastern Wyoming. Temperatures in Montana, they actually range from the mid 80s, 84 in Bozeman to 98 in Billings. Idaho, temperatures are in the upper 70s to upper 90s. Statewide, Wyoming, temperatures are in the low 80s to mid 90s. Go down to the Great Basin and Colorado Rockies, where winds are somewhat light and well, let's just go over state by state. So western Colorado, winds are generally blowing towards the north up to 30 miles an hour. Western Colorado, winds are blowing to the east, but in between, just light and variable there. Blowing up to 30 miles an hour in northwestern Colorado. Utah, winds are generally blowing towards the southeast, shifting towards the east for the most part. But northeastern Utah, winds are blowing up to 30 miles an hour. In southern Nevada, winds are coming from the south, blowing up to 30 miles an hour. In some places, though, in northeastern Nevada, winds are blowing to the southeast at up to 25 to 30 miles an hour in a few places. Elsewhere, very light and variable temperatures. In Colorado, they range from the 73 in Colorado Springs to 98 in Grand Junction. Utah, temperatures range from 88 in Logan to 107 in St. George. Nevada, much of the state, they're in the upper 80s to the 90s throughout much of the state, but southern half, like Las Vegas, it's up to 113 there. Desert Southwest, winds are light and variable throughout eastern Arizona, western New Mexico. In western Arizona, winds are coming from the Gulf of California, shifting towards the east, blowing up to 25 miles an hour. But in New Mexico, on the eastern side, winds are moving to the north-northwest. In some places, up to 30 miles an hour. Elsewhere, it's up to 20 miles an hour. In New Mexico, they actually have temperatures that are in the upper 80s to the 90s. Arizona, statewide, they actually range from 79 in Alpine to 107 in Phoenix, then go to California. So what do we have for California? So California, wherever there are winds, they're blowing up to 20 miles an hour statewide. Well, with the exception of northwestern California, just up to 30 miles an hour. To the south, though, but in the interior, like southeast California, winds are moving to the north at up to 25 miles an hour. In places like the Mojave Desert, Death Valley, winds are up to 20 miles an hour. Central Valley, winds blowing to the Sierra Nevadas up to 20 miles an hour. But in Southern California, you do have temperatures along the coast from San Diego all the way to the Bay Area. With temperatures are in the mid 70s to upper 80s. Up along the coast in Northern California, temperatures are in the 60s to 70s there. In the interior, in the desert part of California, like southeastern California, temperatures are in the triple digits, especially in the northern part of Central Valley, California, 98 in Sacramento. Similar story as, well, the southern part of the Central Valley, California, temperatures are at 106 in places like Fresno and Bakersfield. Now, what about the Pacific Northwest? You have winds generally blowing towards the east, but in southwestern Oregon, winds are actually moving to the south. But in the beaches of Oregon and Washington State, winds are actually blowing up to 30, up sometimes 40 miles an hour in sustained winds, though. In the leeward side of the Cascades, though, like the Columbia River Valley to the it's north central Oregon to Spokane, winds blowing up to 20 to 30 miles an hour, maybe a little higher though, up to 35. You have Oregon, temperatures are in the 80s to low mid 90s. In Washington State, temperatures range from 73 in Seattle to 97 in Yakima. Now we go to the gusts, see what we got in terms of gusts. So excuse me, a little bit gusts in some parts of Maine, the Hudson Valley, down towards Long Island, greater New York City area, all because of some storms that are there, especially near Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and some gusts in West Virginia, too, up to 30 miles an hour, but do keep in mind, do consult with the National Weather Service and local reports as they provide you more accurate details. This is just an estimate, folks. Some gusts up to 30 miles an hour in places like coastal Georgia all the way to the Panhandle, Florida. And some places up to 40 miles an hour in southern Texas, western Texas too, and up to 30 miles per hour in some places in eastern Texas. Up to 40 to 50 miles per hour in places like Nebraska, South Dakota, and even Wyoming, and even in northern Rockies like northwestern Montana, and up to 50 to 60 miles per hour in some places in the Cascades, and some places offshore, but along the coast, along Oregon. Now let's talk about what's going on with humidity. So humidity, there's a lot of it throughout much of the Northeast, going into West Virginia and the mid-Mississippi Valley, and even Florida. Rainfall estimates. Rainfall accumulation estimates in the Mid-Atlantic, like Chesapeake Bay area, up to 2 to 3 inches of rain there. Virginia, up to 2 inches of rain. In the greater New York City area, up to an inch and a half of rain, especially the rest of New Jersey, and as well as some parts of Florida, up to 2 inches of rain in some parts. Hold on a minute, folks. Alright, I'm back, folks. I'm back. About 2 to 3 inches of rain in northeastern Texas, southeastern Oklahoma. Up to an inch of rain in the hill country, part of Texas, northern Arkansas, in the northern plains like the Dakotas, in northern Minnesota, up to 2 to 3 to 4 inches of rain some places, especially in northern Montana and northern tip of Idaho. All right, and now, actually, let's just talk about what's going on now with the next 3 days in terms of upper level winds. So let's start off here and assume that this is right now. So basically what we have here is just a flat trough located in the Hudson Bay area in Canada, and as well as another trough just to the north of Washington State, and as well as an upper level high just located in southwestern U.S. But for the most part, folks, there is wet weather in places like the northern Rockies, especially in the upper, in northern New England, and even parts of the Northeast too, including my area. Now, of course, pop-up storms are common throughout the South. That's the thing, folks. For tomorrow night, there is going to be a giant flat ridge located over the Northeast, a trough over the northern Rockies, and another trough just located just north of the Great Lakes region, which means that there's going to be wet weather in the Great Plains, especially in the upper Mississippi Valley, Great Lakes region. I don't know if I've already said that. I'm getting hungry, folks, for some reason. There's also another trough located over Northern California, which means there could be some precipitation in Northern California. Some storms will occur throughout the South, but we'll check further down the line within the stream. For Wednesday night, there is going to be a flat trough just to the north of Minnesota, and there's going to be a ridge over Nevada, and a ridge off of New England, which means that there is going to be wet weather throughout the upper Mississippi Valley, Great Lakes region, Northern Plains, throughout a little bit in the Central Plains too, and just a little bit of precipitation in Northern California, but I'll check that just to verify. And even some wet weather could occur throughout the Northeast. Whoa, yippee! Not. For those of you who want rain, okay, fine. That's just a way just to decrease the rainfall deficits in the Northeast, considering that we haven't had much rain or that we just needed to water the plants. But too much of it is bad. So you know, folks, too much is bad for your garden and for your vegetables and even whatever else that you do. Oh, and also, that'll ruin your fun if you go to the water park or just to go to the beach. Not the right weather to go to the beach with thunderstorms, right, guys? Right? I thought so. Yeah, I'm just checking the chat real quick just to see if I'm missing anybody from the chat. Yeah, because if I did, oh boy, would I be so disappointed. Finally, let's talk about Thursday night. So by Thursday night, there is a flat trough in the upper Mississippi Valley. And there's going to be a let me see. Yeah, there's going to be a ridge over the Great Basin. Flat ridge over the New York City area. And as well as upper level high over the Carolinas. That means there's going to be wet weather in the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes region, parts of the Northeast, and as well as parts of California, the Desert Southwest, Great Basin too, but it's not widespread though. But we'll just check, with that just to verify. Before we can get to the Radar Omega part, let's talk about the tropics. So from what I've heard is that there is a tropical system that has potential for development. But so far, folks, there is, within the next 48 hours, just up to 20% chance of cyclone formation. Within the next 7 days, up to 30%. I quote, "An area of low pressure located offshore of the east coast of Florida is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. This disturbance is forecast to move westward across Florida during the next day or so, and into the northeastern Gulf by late Tuesday. Environmental conditions appear favorable, and some gradual development of this system is possible while it moves westward to west-northwestward across the northeastern and north-central portions of the Gulf during the middle to latter part of the week." But regardless of development, heavy rainfall could produce localized flash flooding over portions of Florida and the north-central Gulf. Like folks in the southeastern Louisiana, like New Orleans, Biloxi, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, and Pensacola, Florida. Okay, just to verify, I'm just going to check just to see if there's anything. Let's just use this part here. So, what do we have here? Okay, so let's start off here and just to see what's going on. Okay, so according to this, they did say starts off east of Florida, crossing into the Gulf. So let's see. Let's go to 24 hours from now. Okay, just not quite something I would consider a textbook definition of cyclone development. In 24 hours from now, now 48 hours from now. It's something, but there's a lot of rain that goes along with it. And then we move on to Thursday night. I mean, there is, but it's just that I'm not seeing that. I mean, an area of low pressure could make its way towards Louisiana and up the Mississippi River, but I just don't think that cyclone development is going to happen, at least that I've seen right now using the GFS model. But let's just take a look at the European model. So let's assume that this is right now. Okay, so there's an area of low pressure just off of Florida on the east coast, and now we move towards 24 hours from now. Okay, it looks like it's crossing into the Gulf, but it's not well defined, it's not organized, it's not deep enough by tomorrow night. But then we move to 48 hours from now, so what do we have? It looks like just some storms, but nothing to brag about in terms of cyclone development. Then we move on to Thursday night. Though it's just going to be a big rainmaker, folks, but nothing I would consider to be worthy of tropical storm development. But it's just that it's not really there, folks. It's not really there. But from what I've heard, or rather from what I've seen from some meteorologists, is that, I mean, this is not an actual forecast. That's just them hypothesizing what if this were to be fully worthy of developing into a storm. Well, maybe up to a tropical storm would be no more than that, folks. I mean, from what I can tell is that if I were to use, let's say, use this 500 millibar map. Okay, so I mean, strong winds. It's just for the most part, there is something that could be worthy of development. Yeah, considering that I'm seeing upper level winds using the European model. Now I gotta check the GFS model one more time. So with the GFS model, I mean, strong winds are present aloft on the eastern coast of Florida, but going into, let's see, tomorrow, there's still, and especially another 24 hours still, and maybe some, but it'll be too late by then. But I'm just gonna turn back one more time with the European model, just to verify and such. Okay, so this is right now. So Florida, they have strong winds aloft. Another strong winds. Still some strong winds, but nothing to brag about. Yeah, I mean, I just don't really see any potential. I mean, this is just for me, folks. I mean, things can change overnight. I mean, I'm not saying you should trust me automatically, but I'm saying that this system, I mean, it does have a little bit, slight potential, but it doesn't really mean that, in my opinion, that it's going to be worthy of being a tropical system, or at least a tropical depression. I mean, it could, but it's just not really there. It's just going to be a big rainmaker, nothing more. Okay, so now let's get back to this one. And I want to check real quick just to see what we're dealing with right now. So, the greater New York City area, well, hold on just a minute, folks. I need to turn off the AC. Give me a moment. Well, a huge batch of rain right now is currently over Staten Island right now, but as I turn it to the single site radar here, but change that to high res, just play the radar for you guys. Okay, so clusters of thunderstorms, flash flood warnings are still in effect, and there's a flash flood warning just north of Kingston, New York. And those flash flood warnings have now extended down towards the greater New York, the 5 boroughs area of New York City. And from what I can see is that special weather statements, special marine warnings are in effect throughout the New York Bay Area. And as you can see, heavy rains from New Jersey. They're crossing into Staten Island to Brooklyn and into Queens. So that means it is time for me to do the it's time for me to get to the 3-day forecast. So let's just hurry this up, folks, on my end, because thunder could be roaring, folks, so I gotta make it snappy. I don't know what's going on, folks, but things are not cooperating with me. I mean, this is what I have, folks, for the time being. I mean, for right now, I don't think this is going to work. I mean, this is right now. I mean, I want the full thing, but unfortunately, I can't really get the full thing. Now, why not the GFS and European models? Well, folks, I'm more like leaning towards more mesoscale type of models more than the global models, because I mean the global models they are as they do serve a good purpose in terms of forecasting for long range forecasting, but using a mesoscale model is considered more vital because they're more accurate, but they don't work in terms of long range forecasting like using the European or the GFS models. Regardless, let's just talk about what's going on for tomorrow morning. So by tomorrow morning, we can only go up to 2 days at this point. So plenty of warm lows throughout the south, east coast. Plenty of warm lows throughout the desert southwest. Chilly temperatures in some parts of the Rockies, the Cascades, even some parts of coastal California too. And we talk about what's going to happen tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow night there's going to be a lot of heating throughout much of the Great Plains, with the exception of the Dakotas, where it's going to get just a little bit mild. But there's going to be a lot of heat throughout much of the South, North Florida, and plenty of heat throughout the desert Southwest, California, parts of the Great Basin too. Chilly weather in western Montana. Then we talk about let's see what we have for Wednesday morning. So by Wednesday morning, there's going to be plenty of warm lows throughout much of the south, mild temperatures throughout the Ohio Valley, Northeast, much of the Great Lakes region, Mississippi Valley, desert Southwest, plenty of warm lows, chilly weather throughout the Rocky Mountains and North Dakota. And then we work towards Wednesday night is going to be a lot of heat throughout the Mississippi Valley, Southern Plains, Texas, desert Southwest, California, Great Basin, and even parts of the Pacific Northwest. Chilly weather throughout parts of the Dakotas and Northern Rockies, and even parts in northern part of the Great Lakes region. We go back to here. Talk about humidity. There's going to be plenty of humidity throughout the East Coast, the rest of the South, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Mississippi Valley, Eastern Great Plains, and even parts of the desert Southwest too. Oh wait, that's 2 o'clock. My bad, folks. Yeah, this is what I mean. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, plenty of humidity anywhere east of the Rockies, with the exception, east of the Rockies, plus desert Southwest, and parts of the West Coast too. Tomorrow night, folks, a lot of humidity throughout the Southeast Coast, Mississippi Valley, Great Plains, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, parts of the desert Southwest, and parts of the West Coast. Wednesday morning, a lot of humidity anywhere east of the Rockies, with the exception of the Dakotas, and also some humidity throughout parts of the desert Southwest, as well as parts of the West Coast. I think I can hear background music, folks, and that's not very helpful. Alright, and finally, I don't know if I've already said this, but plenty of humidity throughout the East Coast, much of the South, Ohio Valley, southern half of the Great Lakes region, Mississippi Valley, Great Lakes region, not in the Dakotas. Some humidity in the desert Southwest, and plenty of humidities throughout the parts of the West Coast. Let's talk about Cape for tomorrow morning. By tomorrow morning, there's going to be a lot of Cape, mostly along the Gulf Coast. Some Cape along the East Coast, the interior South, Southern Plains, Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, Upper Mississippi Valley too, and parts of the Dakotas, Upper Peninsula, Michigan. tomorrow night, there's a lot of convection throughout the upper Mississippi Valley, Great Plains region, Ohio Valley, and the lower Mississippi Valley, parts of Texas too. A good amount of humidity throughout throughout much of the East Coast, desert Southwest, and Wyoming. Apologies once again. Wednesday morning, convection only limited to those in the central Gulf Coast. Some convection just located throughout the rest of the South, East Coast, Ohio Valley. Sorry about that. Mississippi Valley. Parts of the Rocky Mountains. There's a lot of convection throughout the Mississippi Valley. Look at this. Possibly some severe weather. We'll see. And especially throughout parts of the Northeast. And a good amount of Cape throughout the rest of the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, Southeast. Now let's talk about precipitation for tomorrow morning. By the way, this is just a little off, folks. So there's going to be plenty of wet weather throughout parts of the Northeast, the South. Some places might get some showers and storms already happening. The Midwest, only in the Northern Plains, Great Lakes region, storms are there. Northern Rockies, particularly in Montana, northern Idaho. But although stray clouds and showers are there in parts of the West Coast and even parts of the Great Basin too. Tomorrow night, showers and storms throughout much of the East Coast, Ohio Valley, Mid-Mississippi Valley, even some showers and storms throughout Texas. Strong to severe storms in the Northern Plains, Upper Mississippi Valley, and the Northern Rockies too. Oh, and as well as the Rockies in Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. And the parts of the Great Basin will get some showers. Maybe a few storms there. Wednesday morning, there's still plenty of showers and storms throughout parts of the East Coast, Ohio Valley, parts of the South, Texas, and some storms will linger throughout the Northern Plains, Upper Mississippi Valley. Stray clouds and showers throughout parts of the West Coast. And finally, finally, by Wednesday night, there are still plenty of storms throughout anywhere east of the Mississippi, towards in the Great Lakes region, Upper Mississippi Valley. Some cloud showers and a few storms in the Northern Plains, and plenty of storms throughout parts of the desert Southwest, all the way to Wyoming, and a few clouds and showers and storms in places like the desert Southwest. Alright, folks, even though it's not a 3-day forecast, but like I said, I do apologize for that, because this takes a lot longer to wait for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Alright, folks, well, does that mean that we're going to conclude the stream? Well, actually, folks, I'm just going to put the radar back on and see what's going on right now. For the most part, I would say that, well, there's still flash flood warnings throughout the New York City area, in the Five Boroughs area, and a special marine warning, choppy waters in New York Bay, New York Harbor. But let me just see real quick, just to see what we're dealing with. Some storms are about to, they are causing a lot of trouble in the city. So let's just play Minecraft for as long as possible. But if thunder roars, that's it, folks. We'll call it a stream. But before we do that, just in case, I do want to do the weather topic of the day. So hold on a minute, folks. I'm going to pull up something right now. Yeah, okay. So, I've already got that prepared. Alright? Now, I just gotta remember... Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I just gotta remember when did I do the weather topic of the day. Okay, so I'm just gonna get this over with right now. So, the weather topic of the day is... What do you do during a flash flood warning? During a flash flood warning, the top priority is to move to higher ground immediately and avoid walking or driving through flooded areas. Flash floods can develop rapidly and be extremely dangerous. So that means staying on higher ground. Alright, take two, folks. During a flash flood warning, the top priority is to move to higher ground immediately and avoid walking or driving through flooded areas. Flash floods can develop rapidly and be extremely dangerous. Additionally, stay informed, avoid water hazards, secure your home, and beware of your surroundings. If you're trapped in water, like for example, if you're trapped in a vehicle, abandon immediately and seek higher ground. But if you're trapped in moving water, move to the highest possible point and call for help if possible. Yeah, I might repeat that sometime later, but in the meantime, I'm just gonna play like Minecraft for now. Hold on, just let me change the game. Okay. Here we go. It's here. Yeah, the game's here, of course. Okay. Now, this is what I have so far. So, I would assume that we are at Northwest 40th Avenue. We've gotten as far as we could. But there's just so much that we gotta do. But the thing is, I don't intend to get this done by the end of the stream because of the threat for severe weather. It's dangerous, folks. Very dangerous. Yeah, if I hear thunder, I gotta do the weather topic of the day. Make it quick. So, until thunder roars, how are you guys doing today? Sorry, I didn't even get to the part where I just asked you guys how your day was because of me talking so much about the weather. Because as a meteorologist, I gotta do that. It's to keep you guys informed, educated, and even entertained. With me gaming, of course. But unlike Minecraft, weather can change. This is not Minecraft. I mean, there's some people out there that think that the whole storms have been human induced, and those people who believe that, they really need to learn a lot more about meteorology. They need to take a class in cloud seeding. Think I can hear thunder, folks. Here's the thing. Weather is not dictated by human beings. And even if they do cloud seeding, that's small. It doesn't affect an entire region. It only affects, it just affects small areas. But even I have a lot to learn about cloud seeding. Because this is just what I got so far. The truth is, you can't really dictate the weather. You can't not do that. Because it's impossible. No human can do that. I mean, even if we tried to, it takes a substantial amount of resources for that to happen. And for those folks who insist that a lot of people out there are just manipulating the weather, well, what is wrong with you? Dude, of course there's such thing as cloud seeding, but it doesn't mean that there is such thing as a large scale type of weather manipulation. There's no such thing. I mean, it would take a lot of resources for that to happen. A lot. A real lot. To affect an entire region of the US. Or the entire world. I mean, not only study meteorology, but also study physics. And taming a hurricane. Come on, really? I mean, do you really think man alone would tame a hurricane? That's not possible. Well, very unlikely, actually. Because the power of a hurricane can be equivalent to be as much as powering the entire world many, many times. And for mankind to do that kind of stuff, it's too many resources involved. And the power of the storm is more powerful than just powering what we have right now around the world. Uh-oh. Yep, folks. Okay, so that was an actual rumble of thunder. Okay, so folks, I'm gonna have to end it here, but before I do that, I'm gonna do the weather topic of the day before the thunder roars louder. Hold on, folks. Hold on. Okay, just need to leave it right here. Now I am going back here, And I'm also going to retry the weather topic of the day. Single site radar, so here we go. Okay. Now let's do the weather topic of the day. Okay, so here it is. During a flash flood warning, the top priority is to move to higher ground immediately and avoid walking or driving through flooded areas. Flash floods can develop rapidly and be extremely dangerous. Stay informed. Never drive through flooded roadways. Even if they appear shallow, 6 inches of water that is moving can knock you down. And a foot of water can sweep away many vehicles. Secure your home. If you're trapped in water, like let's say if you're in a vehicle and you're caught in the floodwaters, abandon your car immediately and seek higher ground. But if you're trapped in moving water, move to the highest possible point and call for help if possible. And more importantly, be aware of your surroundings. All right, folks, that's the weather topic of the day. I know there were a lot of stammering involved, but that's what I got. Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream so early. I'm deeply sorry for those of you who expect me to stream throughout until 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, but because of the storm, I have to end it here. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday for only a national weather discussion at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But until then, I'll see you guys then. Hit me with a follow, turn on the notifications while you're at it, so that you guys will know when I'll be streaming the next time. Sometimes I'll be there on time, other times I'll be a little late, or postpone or delay or cancel the stream altogether. Alright? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys then. Until then, peace out, everybody. Signing out.